NIMD Forum of Young Politicians of the South Caucasus and Ukraine started 4 years ago as NIMD's annual initiative to bring together young politicians from all around the region. So at this forum, the fourth time in the Georgian parliament, we gathered 15 representatives from each of the countries of the South Caucasus, Armenia, Georgia, Azerbaijan, as well as Ukraine, to discuss important matters of democratization and political development. They were joined with the representatives from Dutch young political parties who were sharing their really very valuable experiences in managing and running youth organizations in the Netherlands, which has a very strong tradition of doing that.
Young people, young politicians, motivated, educated, bright, intelligent young people together from the 3 different countries and Ukraine, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia. They come from a history of conflict, but it's really interesting to see them together and to start to work together to build their countries and to really inspire each other. And I think that's something we've seen in Europe, that it is really possible to overcome differences and work together. I think it's very inspiring to see that happening here as well.
It's not the current established old politicians who have a very fixed opinion, but it's young people who usually are a bit more open for discussion, a bit more open for other views in certain areas of politics, which is, I think, the most interesting of this whole forum.
Also, they were joined by 2 speakers with great experience in actually doing politics on the European level. We had a former Minister of Defense of the Netherlands, also with a very extensive background in politics on electoral posts in the parliament for 15 years. The Foreign Secretary of the United Kingdom participated and addressed the participants of the forum with his keynote address. And I think those interventions provided a very valuable outlook into what is achievable, what is doable, and the strong motivation also to unite forces, to move on and to leave the dividing lines in the region behind. And that was very important, I think, as well.
Let's say you adopt something very important law, which, let's say, brings rights of the prisoners on another level, for example, which is a very important thing to make sure that human rights are observed in those very, very specific circumstances. And you say that, wow, I did that. But after 5 minutes you realize that, oh, wait a minute, there's another milestone ahead. Because it's not enough, you need to continue. You strengthen, let's say, self-government institutions, and you are satisfied that, well, we did something good. We decentralized power, now local people have more right to make decisions about their own problems. Yeah, that's great. But after 1 day you realize that, oh, yes, but the other things are necessary again. It's about electoral system, it's about judiciary, it's about the relationship between public agencies and private agencies. It's about, I don't know, everything. You cannot name any single issue which you can say that, okay, it is done. It is never done.
What is your values as European Union? Do you stand for democracy still? Can we believe you as a young politician?
Wow. Yes, we do. And yes, we can. Well, we can have a very interesting theoretical debate about the relation between security and democracy. I was confronted with that question not in a theoretical but very practical way in Afghanistan, because we were there to bring security and democracy with very small words. If there is no security in the country, if the criminals are the bosses in the streets, it's difficult to have a democracy. So you need some security and maybe even some economic development to have a grown democracy. That's a theoretical debate, of course. Maybe I'm not familiar with all the details. Maybe you are right. And is your criticism very, very valuable. That our terminology, our talkings have changed. Well, in the past we started with democracy and now we're talking about security. Thank you so much for that type of criticism, because that can be very helpful.
In 4 years, I think we achieved 3 very important things, objectives. I think first and foremost, we have established an atmosphere of trust between the participants. When they come here on an annual basis, they know that there are people on the other side, around the table, who are ready to understand their concerns and not only to struggle to prove that just one person is right, but people are coming here to debate in a frank, open manner. And I think this is very important in terms of building trust in the region, which is so much lacking. The second issue, I think, is that the participants themselves have grown up professionally as well. Now, we've been offering a series of trainings to young politicians from Armenia, Azerbaijan, and Georgia on some of the very important issues related to political party life and politics in general. And I think they have learned better how to do democratic politics, and that's important. And the third one, I think, is that this process has become the process that these people are involved in, and they have a great sense of ownership of it. So as I would always like to highlight at these meetings, we want this to be not the NIMD project, but the political project of 3 and 4 countries represented here, the project of those young politicians, which we will support wholeheartedly with our resources, knowledge, and ability to facilitate and steer the process. But it had become their own project, and I think this is something that I value very much.
From my side, what I have seen, this is the participants basically. They started to get more mature. They have somehow started to build up an ethical code, how to dialogue each other, how to discuss the issues. Besides of that, what I have seen, they started to be interested in this project like their own project. Like the ownership is the essential part that I really like it. So they own this forum. They are just engaged to this process. For example, we have a steering group and we invite people from opposition and ruling party, and in this steering group they are discussing the forum topics and they decide on the description, the context of the topics. So with this way we have gave them this power to get a hand on the forum.
ვთვლი რომ ძალიან მნიშვნელოვანი საკითხზე სასაუბრო ჩავეკრებებით სულ ცოტა ხანში, რასაც ქვია ქალთა ჩართულობა პოლიტიკურ პროცესში, ქალთა მონაწილეობა გადაწყვეტილების მიღების პროცესში და მით უფრო ეს საკითხი მნიშვნელოვანია ახალგაზრდა პოლიტიკოსთა ფორუმის არგლებში იმ ქვეყნებისთვის, სადაც ეს საკითხები ძალიან მტკივნეულად დგას და ძალიან დაბალია მონაწილეობის პროცენტი, ქალთა ჩართულობის პროცენტი პოლიტიკაში.
Тема моего доклада – это роль СМИ в демократическом процессе. Я считаю, это очень важно, особенно в нынешнее время для Украины, так как ситуация в стране очень тяжелая, и СМИ играют очень важную и большую роль, так как они влияют на население страны.
During the first session of the electoral system, we have shared many opinions from Georgia, Azerbaijan, and Armenia, and basically we reached success in finding the common ground, common problem, and outlining the future challenge.
As for the second group that I visited today, I would like to mention that the topic of the group was the strengthening of role of self-governance, and it was really vivid and lively discussion. And it's really hard for me even to express all the points and topics that we discussed, but I will try. Well, each speaker mentioned that each of the country is a member of European Charter on Self-Governance, and each of the country also has provisions concerning self-governance in their constitution. But at the same time, it still has problems with the self-governance. Even the moderator Frank from the Dutch delegation mentioned that this also in Netherlands they have some problems with elections and transparency of elections in their country.
მეორე წელია რაც ვიღებ მონაწილეობას და ეს ფორუმი არ მოიცავს მხოლოდ ამ ორდღიან სესიებს. ამ ფორუმის მოსამზადებელი პერიოდი გრძელდება მთელი წლის განმავლობაში და ჩვენ საშუალება გვაქვს შევხვდეთ ჩვენს კოლეგებს ჩვენი მეზობელი ქვეყნებიდან. ძალიან მიხარია წელს უკრაინაც დაემატა, რაც უფრო მეტ საშუალებას გვაძლევს, რომ უკვე ფართო რეგიონული მასშტაბით განსაზღვროთ პრობლემები და ვესაუბროთ ჩვენს ტოლებს, ჩვენს კოლეგებს და ჩვენი ხედვები დავუკავშიროთ ერთმანეთს. ძალიან საინტერესოა კოოპერაცია ამ ადამიანებთან და ძალიან საინტერესოა ასევე ის, რომ საშუალება გვეძლევა ამ მეგობრული ურთიერთობებით შემდეგ უკვე ვიზრუნოთ შემდეგ თანამშრომლობაზე. ვიფიქროთ იმაზე, რომ როგორ შეიძლება უფრო მეტად დავამშვიდოთ სიტუაციას ჩვენს რეგიონში, როგორ შეიძლება მოვძებნოთ თანაკვეთის წერტილები, მოვძებნოთ ის გარემოებები, რაზეც შეგვიძლია ვითანამშრომლოთ.
I think this forum can bring about major benefits to the countries concerned and the region as well. First and foremost, it will benefit from more educated politicians who have done very good training and have participated in political discussions with the groups with which they very often may disagree. So they will be more experienced as well as more educated and well-trained if they continue their political lives in the future as well. But also the region will find itself in the hands of the younger generation of politicians who have already established trust between each other and who know how to negotiate, who know how to build a compromise. And I think this is a knowledge in which people have to be trained. This can be learned. It's part of political culture, but it can be learned via this type of meetings, discussions, and debate. And I think that will be definitely a very positive development for this region.
Очень сложный вопрос. Наверное, кооперация с другими партиями, с юношескими организациями других партий Армении и Азербайджана.
Gaining experience for young politicians like me is very important and essential. Our region, Caucasus, is very different and a difficult region in the world. We have the problems, but we have the same culture and the background. For example, I have been, it's the first time I have been with the Armenian delegation in anywhere. It's the most best experience that I have got when I discuss the problems with them or when we work together in the group sessions. Therefore, I wanted to thank NIMD and the organizers of this forum.
It's conferences like this one that provide a good opportunity for the future leaders of this region to have the chance to meet here and learn together. Bringing the next generation of political leaders from different communities across the region together can only help to increase dialogue and understanding, both vital precursors for achieving lasting stability and security in this region.
The representatives of the parties involved, they also spoke at these sessions, and I think the nature and the content of their speeches were more professional and more mature as well. We've seen less confrontational approach to delivering remarks, final or opening, or during the debates, and it was more positive towards the other groups, more tolerable towards different opinions, and I think that's important. So yes, indeed, those young politicians have substantially grown up and are on their way to becoming really well-trained, solid politicians in the future.